Welcome to Literary Libations with Librarians, and this time we are going to be sharing books that make us smile. As we talk about our titles, if you'd like to get your hands on any of them, there's several ways to go about doing that. The first and probably the most straightforward is to simply call your local branch of the Monroe County Library System and speak to the staff there, and they'll be more than happy to assist you. You can also go online to our online catalog to request physical versions, a hardcover, or an audiobook on CD, and that web address is on the screen now. Some of the titles are also available via one of our digital apps, and the two apps that we provide are Libby, and you may also hear Libby referred to as Overdrive. Overdrive is the company that owns Libby. And Libby offers downloadable ebooks and audiobooks and also magazines, as well as movies now. And Hoopla is our other digital app, and Hoopla has downloadable ebooks, audiobooks, and also movies, music, and graphic novels. And on Hoopla, anything that you see with a lightning bolt, which is almost everything, means that there is not a wait for that item. Lots of people can have the same item checked out at the same time on Hoopla. I am Jennifer Graneski. I'm the community librarian at the Dundee branch. And to kick us off this week and introduce everybody who's here, our question is, what has made you smile this week? And for me, I mean, there's been a lot of things, but my 13-year-old son and I are currently playing a video game together called It Takes Two, and it requires 2 players, so he has to have a buddy to play it. And I am his chosen buddy, and I am terrible. Like, I'm literally like, what button do I push to jump? A, jump, and then I hit the wrong button and I die. And then we both laugh because I die a lot. And thankfully the game, it doesn't matter that you die a million times. So it's really nice to spend time with my son doing something that he enjoys and that we can do together and laugh at each other as we play. Also with us this week is Isabella Arnold, who is a sub throughout the Monroe County Library System. And what has made you smile this week, Isabella?
Well, mine was had so many elements, but on Monday, it was beautiful outside. It was so nice. The sun was shining. It was the perfect temperature. We went to story time, and then it was so nice out and no one was at the playground. And we went to the playground and we were playing there, and my son literally just patted the bench and like pointed at me and was like, "Sit down, lady." And so I just got to sit down while he played, and it was like, I never felt so much love and appreciation like for another human being. And I just sitting there smiling, so goofy, and I was like, this is pure happiness. The sun, the playground, relaxing, watching, big body movement, danger assessment on the slides. It's like, this is it, done. Yeah. So when I saw your question, I was like,
that moment was a good moment and a good day. Thank you, Isabella. Also with us this week is Stephanie Winterstein, who is our Youth Services Coordinator for the Monroe County Library System. And you may also see her as the Youth Services person at the Ida or the Petersburg branches. And what has made you smile this week, Stephanie?
Mine is a little more selfish, but my oldest got a big girl job for the summer. So there was I don't know who had the bigger smile on their face, her, my husband, or me. She has worked really hard, but we're like, no, you need to work a lot this summer because you like to spend a lot. So when she went to an interview and came home and it was way more than she was expecting and it was a way better offer, we were all excited. So now she can live the life that she hopes she can live as a college student in Ann Arbor, where things are expensive. Yeah. So yeah, that was our, I don't think I stopped smiling that whole night, but just overall, just being so proud of my kids and that they're good people too. So, it was a big smile week.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to her on her position. Also with us this week is Ashley Lyford, our community librarian at the Summerfield Petersburg branch. And what's made you smile this week, Ashley?
Well, it's silly, but I got my dog some new toys. And my older dog, who is 11, he doesn't really play I don't know, his little brother's crazy and he quit playing a long time ago. But he is obsessed with these toys, like no joke. Last night, like the whole family was in on it. So Cece and Greg too, like we were just all playing and he's like running around crazy and panting. He was so happy. I love it when, you know, when he doesn't play very much and then suddenly he's like, it makes me happy.
Aw, our dogs. I was debating about a Barbara story, but she's been pretty quiet this week. She's just been, you know, relaxing. So, all right. Well, I'm going to ask Isabella to get us kicked off with her books that make her smile.
So, sorry, I like choked on my coffee. That was what was going on over here while everybody else was talking. But so my first title is The Bad Seed. I love The Bad Seed, even though, you know, it has like a cranky title by Jory John and Pete Oswald. And it's so funny. Whenever I read it to my son, I always like have to go, he was a bad seed, a bad seed. And it's about a sunflower seed who is living his idyllic life on his sunflower, and then it drooped and he fell and it was dark and there was a bag and then a crunch and he fell underneath the bleachers and he just, you know, he was so happy and then so sad, and you know, life's troubles had beat him up and he didn't help people cross the street, and he said he would do things and he didn't, and he was so mean to all of his friends, and but, you know, little by little, he learned that life's not that bad, and maybe he could help people across the street. And that one just makes me smile so much. And he said he would do things, and he was trying to do them. And you can't help but smile during that book. I mean, that was a super quick synopsis of it, but it's about a sunflower seed who was on a dark path, and then he turned. And the whole series is so good. There's the good egg, there's the cool bean, I think, or cool bean, smart cookie, couch potato. I love them all. All of them make me happy. They're all so dramatic.
And I do want to mention, when I looked this one up to make the slide, it is available in what we in library world call a Vox audiobook. So you can get this one, and it's like what we had when I was little, where you might have a tape that you could put and then read the book along, or a record. Yeah, that really ages me. I had records and little books, and it'll tell you when to turn the page, and it's got a recording, and it's all in one thing. Like, it's all one book, no separate pieces or anything. You just push the button and it'll read the book. So if you're real tired and your child needs somebody to read a book to them and you just can't, those Vox audiobooks are fabulous. And you'll see that mentioned a couple of times today, because a few of us are doing children's books, and a few of them are available as Vox. So I just want to throw that little advertisement in as well.
Yeah, no, Vox books are amazing. My son will just open them up and I'm like, oh, you're so smart. Push that button, see what happens. And they're great. So yeah, so they're a super cute series. There's a new one for Easter that's coming out. I don't think the library has it though, but it's called The Great Escape by the same author. Just noticed that one. It may or may not make it into an Easter basket at my house. It actually may or may not be being delivered today. Hypothetically speaking, of course. And then my other book is a grown-up book, and it's called The Greatest Love Story Ever Told, and it's by Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman, and you may know them as Karen from Will and Grace, and then Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, and they individually are the funniest people that I've ever seen on television. Like, I can watch their clips on YouTube all day long. Like, Ron Swanson is my spirit animal. Like, he's amazing. And I wish I could be like Karen Walker, but I can't. But it would be fun. And they're married, and they wrote this book, and it's in an interview style. I think I heard about this book like when they were doing like a radio interview and like read a chapter, and I was like, that's really funny. Like I should look up this book. And it's all just in an interview format. Questions about how they, how they found each other. They were both doing a small play in a small theater. And she was the star from Will and Grace coming to do this play, and he was a supporting actor / carpenter. And she saw him and was like, nope. And it's just really funny about their life together, their secrets to marriage, their secrets to love. They love to do jigsaw puzzles, and there's like pictures of them with their best puzzles. And it's just really funny. And it's just their life, and they're literally so funny together. I can only imagine like what their conversations in real life are like, because I bet they're just ridiculous. And so yeah, I loved it. I actually even re-requested it. I probably read it maybe 3 years ago, and I re-requested it this morning to reread it because I was so tickled reading the synopsis that I had written about it all those years ago. So yeah, it's super funny, puts a smile on my face even thinking about it, because they are so, like, you think Karen and Ron are like put on characters, and no, it's just like Nick and Megan, like in real, like on television. So yeah, those are my picks.
Thank you, Isabella. And now I'll ask Stephanie if she would share her titles that make her smile.
So for me, it's always easiest for picture books, because every time I open one, I feel like, oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. And it just happened to pick a good week because it was class visit week. So I got to try all these out. So I know which ones were good this week so that I can read them next week for my other class visit week. The first one, I always have pressure that I have to bring really funny books. This first one wasn't quite as funny, but it's called Mindful Mr. Sloth. And kids love sloths for some reason. I think it's their slow talking. Well, in here, the sloth does talk very slow. So whenever I would read that, I would just read it so slow, and the kids were just dying laughing. So it made me laugh and smile a lot. But basically in this book, the little girl meets her friend, Mr. Sloth, and she is super fast. So she wants to do everything one speed, which is, she doesn't stop at all. And of course, Mr. Sloth is the opposite. Well, there's a race. And so she puts him in her bike basket and she's off. Well, he keeps, up, it's lots of that. So she stops and, he'll be like, smell like the flower. I'm not going to talk that slow the whole time. But, at the end, she realizes that it's good to also stop and smell the flowers every once in a while and look around and, just enjoy all the things that are out there in the world. So that one is super cute and it made me smile. The next one was actually recommended by another children's person at the library, and it might now be one of my favorites, but it's Not Your Typical Dragon. Dragons usually breathe fire, but Crispin, this dragon, when he turns 7, he's supposed to get his fire breathing abilities. And the first time he goes to open his mouth to breathe fire, whipped cream comes out. So they take him to the doctor to find out what's wrong. And the doctor he gets to the doctor and he says, okay, well, fire doesn't come out and whipped cream doesn't come out, Band-Aids come out. And just as you go through the book, every time, he tries to breathe fire, something new comes out. But at the end, he saves the day in a certain way, but it's not with breathing fire. So I'm not going to give it away, but it's super cute, and he's a really cute dragon. So the kids loved guessing what was going to happen next, like what he was going to breathe. So that was also a good one. And then the last one, Bob Shea is a very unique author in my mind. Some of his books are really, really quirky. This one definitely is as well, but it's called Shea Bob. And he is an alligator who is kind of lonely, but he also is hungry. So he wants the birds to, come near him so that he can eat them, of course. So he decides to open a restaurant on his snout. So he advertises his restaurant thinking that the birds will come and then he can just eat them. Well, they come and he realizes, like, the first one came and they're like, I'm going to tell all my friends to dine here. Well, of course, he can't eat his customer that's going to spread the word so that more, birds will come. So it just takes off from there. Pretty soon he has a floating dinner cruise where they can float around on his stomach and dine. And it was very uniquely done, and it's very, very cute. So another one, I don't know. There's so many children's books, and they're so great, and I can never, pick favorites, but those are the ones that made me smile this week. So
thank you, Stephanie. And let's have Ashley share her titles.
Okay, so one of my titles is Hope Never Dies, and that's by Andrew Schaefer. This came out shortly after the Obama presidency ended, and I loved it so much. Basically, it's a mystery, but the main character is Joe, and he is kind of bummed that, like, the presidency's over. He's lost his best pal, Obama, because they kind of had a bro thing going on. So, like, a lot of times in the book, he's like, well, he's too busy for me, so I guess I better just go do this. And it just made me laugh. And, the mystery part is fun. Obviously, at some point, Barack gets involved in trying to figure out the mystery. And it just, I don't know, it was really fun, and just kind of fun to, like, flash back to their bromance that they had going on for a while. There is a second book in the series now too. I can't remember what that's called, but it's good. I think there's only the two. Probably we won't get another one till after the Biden presidency, if I had to guess. But it's funny and cute. So I like that one. And then the other book I read a long time ago, so I can't tell you specifics, but it's Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. And this is one of the first actually audiobooks that I listened to. I used to really struggle with audiobooks. I wanted to like them because, I have a little bit of a drive to work. But I can't focus. I didn't love it. So when I read this one, it's actually Mindy reading the story, obviously. And that's what I love about biographies because, I loved Mindy. She's in The Office. Like, I'm obsessed with her and she's funny. So in this book, she just talks about kind of some insecurities but like everything she says is hilarious. She talks about, like yo-yo dieting and let's see. She talks also about like becoming famous enough so that she could get away with murder, which, she is super famous now. But there's a lot to it. And it's good short chapters, which is nice. I really like that because attention. So that's the second one. You should check it out.
I remember listening to Mindy Kaling's book as well and really enjoying it and being in my car and laughing along and probably making people who could see me in my car laughing, wondering what I was doing. But yeah,
exactly.
It was a good listen. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And now for mine, I'm so excited. This first one in particular, Invasion of the Unicorns by David Burzicki. I'm sorry, David. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. But I love your book. Invasion of the Unicorns. I mean, just look at that little unicorn on the cover. It's already so squishy. So this unicorn on the cover is Special Agent 007. And Agent 007 is coming to Earth to decide whether or not his home planet of adorable unicorns should invade Earth. So 007 is here trying to decide whether or not the unicorn should invade Earth. And so the way that 007 decides to infiltrate an Earth family is by, first of all, being in a claw machine. And it just cracks me up. And each day he gives a report. And so on this particular page, he talks about, his mission is to decide if the unicorn army should invade this planet. First, I must allow myself to be captured by an Earthling family. This won't be easy. Their countless attempts to fetch me have not gone well. I have witnessed what Earthlings call temper tantrums. And I love all the different faces of the kids. And then finally, 007 is snagged. And I love the dance that the dad does, because I can feel that as a parent when you finally do the thing for your kid that you really wanted to. I love the details of like all the animals the dad also managed to catch, but that were not the unicorn that would make his daughter happy. So I also like the dog. On the next page, you see the dog sniffing poor 007, and 007 is concerned that the dog might be onto him. And then each page is a different day in 007's experiences as they try and decide whether or not to tell the unicorns to invade. And I just thought this day happened to be cute. Earthling daughter had her swim lesson today. I didn't know that Earthlings float. Unicorns don't. So I thought it's just super cute. And at the end of the book, you get to find out whether or not the unicorns are going to invade Earth. So it's super cute. The illustrations are cute. There's a lot of great details in here. When 007 is getting ready to be thrown into the dryer to be cleaned, the different settings on the dryer are like normal, dry, extra fluff, atomic fluffiness. So there's just a lot of really fun things in there. And if you love unicorns like I do, your kid's going to love the book and looking at all the pictures. My other one is not about unicorns, and I literally picked it up because of the title, Psycho by the Sea. How could you not want to pick that up? Like, I feel like this book was like, hey, let's write a book that Jennifer likes, and we'll just call it Psycho by the Sea. So I couldn't resist that title. I didn't know anything about it, but I saw Psycho by the Sea. And then you can see that it's part of a series, and it says it's a Constable Twitten mystery. Constable Twitten? Who doesn't want to know what Constable Twitten is doing with Psycho by the Sea? So I couldn't resist. I picked it up. It is the fourth book in the series. There are clearly things that have happened previously that if you start with the fourth book like I did, you won't be entirely privy to. It didn't make a difference. I could still read it and enjoy it. It is not it's not a complicated book. I would say it's very British humor. So if you watch things like Are You Being Served, or you've read P.G. Woodhouse's Jeeves and Wooster, it has British detectives doing overly complicated things that really shouldn't be that complicated, and they should have solved this probably on like page 10. But everything gets overly complicated. It tends to be very silly. So there is a bank heist in this. There is the Psycho by the Sea who has escaped from prison and tends to boil policemen's heads. And apparently the next person he's after is the Inspector Steen, who is Constable Twitten's boss. And Inspector Steen is not the sharpest tool in the shed. And so he tries various ways to outwit the psycho that is coming after him. The cleaner at the police station is actually a criminal mastermind, as cleaners at police stations are wont to be. So it's very over the top. The heist part in particular is just ridiculous and convoluted and overly complicated. So if you like mysteries and you like British humor and silliness, pick up Psycho by the Sea. You can start there. These are available, because as I was reading it, I was like, this would make a great audiobook. If you got the right British reader, it would be hysterical to listen to. It is available on Hoopla. All 4 books are available as audiobooks there. I have not yet listened to any of them, but I am sure that they are fabulous. So if you need a little bit of murder with some silliness on top, I recommend Lynn Truss's Constable Twitten series, particularly this one because it's the one that I've read. So those are the books that have made me smile recently. Thank you to all of you for sharing. Thank you to those of you who have listened. We will be back in April sometime, but spring break is coming up as well as Easter and other things. So I don't know exactly when, but just keep an eye out. We'll get posted on the MCLS Facebook and YouTube. So we hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.